Congressional leaders are expected to meet with President Biden next week to discuss the debt ceiling as the national default deadline quickly approaches. It comes as the Senate Budget Committee held a hearing Thursday on Speaker McCarthy's House-approved debt limit bill. President Biden accused Republicans on Friday of holding the U.S. economy hostage by refusing to pass the debt limit without agreeing to major budget cuts. For more, let's bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion. Nikole, what's your sense of what to expect next week with the meeting of the president and the congressional leaders?
Well, we expect all four of these congressional leaders to sit down with the president. What we're not sure if we can expect is whether they'll be able to reach some type of deal. Clearly, all sides are far apart at this point. The White House continues to insist that it wants a clean debt limit increase without any kind of preconditions. And that's something that Speaker McCarthy is not bringing to the table. His conference passed this wide ranging bill that would raise the debt limit and shred some $4.5 trillion from federal programs, but that simply goes too far for the president and Democrats. So we'll really be watching this meeting to see if there's any movement or area where these sides can compromise.
We just saw some images of some of the senior Republicans and Democrats in the Senate. Is there room for compromise? And if so, what do you think are the best issues?
Well, it's hard to see where they do find compromise because, again, both sides, in terms of Democrats and Republicans, remain entrenched in their positions. You know, one idea that has come about is that potentially, what if the president were willing to sign off on a clean debt limit increase and Republicans go along with it, but that the president also agrees to some spending reforms. Now, he and the White House have insisted that should be a part of a separate discussion that is had when, lawmakers deal with the budget, which they really haven't gotten to at this point in time. So whether or not the president would agree to spending cuts in some type of future deal or future package is an area where maybe they can try to come together. Republicans have made clear again that they're not really going to do a clean up or down increase without some type of agreement around spending reforms.
Final question, but two parts. Do you see a world where there's a short-term debt limit increase? And if not, can Democrats go around the House Speaker's proposed bill and force a vote on the debt ceiling?
Well, it sounds like from the sentiment on the Hill this week, no one really wants to kick the can down the road, to use a cliche there. But, Democrats are making preparations if they can't get any movement or compromise from Republicans. We have already seen Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer kind of put the wheels into motion in terms of putting forth a clean debt limit increase, as well as putting up this House Republican bill. In fact, the Senate held a hearing on that bill earlier this week to kind of say, here, look at this bill, look at these cuts. This is why we need a clean debt limit increase. Similarly, in the House, there has been an effort where House Democrats have quietly tried to put a measure together, what's called a discharge petition, where they would basically attach a clean debt limit increase to an unrelated bill and try to move it that way in an attempt to go around Republicans. But Republicans have made clear they're not going to necessarily break off and side with Democrats. So, this is going to be very tricky.
It sounds like a mess.
And no matter how
it kind of sounds like a mess to the layperson. But
well,
I know you're going to work it out.
Catherine.
I know you're going to work it out. Nikole Killion, thank you for your reporting.
You bet.